Thank you so much for that warm welcome on a brisk spring night in Indiana. Strike up the band indeed. My name is Alan Miller, and it's indeed a pleasure for me to welcome you to the premier concert of the newest jewel in Grant County's cultural crown, the Mississinewa Valley Band, directed by John Brain. If you will permit me a brief aside, in the fall of 1958, as a junior at Sweetser High School, I helped to initiate the teaching and band directing career of John Brain. He told me when I came tonight he's waited 42 years to initiate my career as an announcer for the band. Mr. Brain, I will try to do my very best. My job tonight is to tell you about the music, in this case, that you have already heard, and the music that you're going to be hearing. Although John Phillippe Sousa is remembered primarily for his marches, he wrote considerable music of other types, including several operettas. One of these, titled The Freelance, concerned a goat herder who left his goats, hired himself out as a freelance mercenary leader of two rival armies, maneuvered his troops so that neither side could win, and declared himself emperor of both. Whether Sousa needed another new march for his band in 1906, or whether he realized the limited future of his operetta isn't known. But he did piece together several of the operetta tunes in composing the Freelance March, which you have just heard. It was the only march that Sousa wrote in the year 1906. Looking ahead to our next number, serving originally as advanced trumpetings of a good show, the opera overtures were a good show in themselves. The overture has attractive tunes, vivacious rhythms, and an adequate supply of forceful, menacing, melodramatic fury. The introductory music is predominantly military. The story of light cavalry takes place in a Hungarian village and revolves around the efforts of a troop of cavalrymen to unite a young couple in the face of various intrigues and difficulties. The overture's introduction is aptly based on the trumpet call of the Austro-Hungarian army. A fresh galloping allegro is then developed, interrupted by a plaintive episode of coloration, and is resumed again as the band takes up the trumpet call in full force and brings the music to a rousing and triumphant conclusion. The Mississinewa Valley Band with light cavalry. In the early 19th century, the leading composer of hymn tunes in America was Lowell Mason, whose main activities centered in Boston and New York City. Mason is particularly renowned for having pioneered the introduction of music instruction on a regular basis in the Boston public schools. He composed or arranged some 1,600 hymn tunes and compiled some 80 collections of music. Among the best known of his surviving hymn tunes are Joy to the World, Oh, for a Thousand Tongues to Sing, Nearer My God to Thee, When I Survey the Wondrous Cross, and the following selection, arranged by David Holsinger, which is an extremely warm and tender setting of Lowell Mason's My Faith Looks Up to Thee. Henry Fillmore wrote many marches, and especially circus marches and quick step tunes that were a mainstay to the circus movement in its heyday, when circuses trooped the continent with a fabulous show deemed the greatest show on earth. Listen now as our powerful trombones ham it up with their own version of Lassus trombone. Leroy Anderson wrote many light-hearted tunes that were and still are real toe-tappers. Tunes such as China Doll, Minstrel Boy, Pirate Dance, Song of the Bells, and Sleigh Ride. And we now bring you the ever-popular Sandpaper Ballet.
Well, I want to take a little time to kind of say thanks. Thanks for such a nice audience. We just had try to put this thing together, and it kind of come to fruition back in the fall sometime. And I was trying to figure out. I mean, I never started a community band before, so what do? You got to have a place to rehearse. So I went to Dr. Brown and asked about the possibility of rehearsing here and using their facility in the band room and so forth. And Dr. Brown has just been so cooperative and supportive and encouraging to us. So wherever Dr. Brown is, I just really appreciate that. Are you right here, Dr. Brown? Let's give him a hand. Just right there. Yeah, so he has been just really godsend to us and just kind of pushing us and nudging us and so forth. So first of all, I come to him and ask him if we could, rehearse there, and so forth. He says, oh, by the way, he says, I'd really like it if you could play a concert on our fall program. I said, wait a minute, we don't have a band yet. So we started with that, and there's some guys that I had played in the Wabash band, and I kind of co-directed that for a while. So I got those guys together, and there's 5 guys on the board of directors, and I'd like to recognize them now. We have in the tuba section, remember the guy that was on the picture on the front of the Marion Chronicle? Yeah, that's Harold Bobbitt. Harold, stand. There you go. And then we have Daryl Eastus here. Daryl, he's a tuba player. Thank you, Daryl. And in the trumpet section, we have Max Tillmans. Max. And then in the tenor sax section, Wendell Bainbridge. And then the 5th guy was Jerry Fox, and he's not with us tonight. He's doing a missions kind of a trip and like that down in Florida, I think. So those 5 guys just really kind of got the thing going and helped us and so forth. So that's kind of the background of how we got started. And what I'd like to also, just diversity, you saw in your program, didn't you? What the people do for their occupation and so forth. And I wanted to give recognition to the band directors, because we have band directors here in the band, and they, you're just busy. Everybody's busy, but I've really been fortunate to have those guys to help out. And I probably missed somebody here, but I'll try not to. Current band directors, Don Lamb, just stay standing. Don Lamb here at Madison Grant, Mike Horan at Marion, David Bear at Mississinewa, Chuck Reynolds at Eastbrook, Max Tillman back here on, he's at Madison Grant. Tim. Back here in tuba is Tim Klein. He's at Lakeview Christian School. And who did I miss? Who did I miss? Okay, thanks, guys. Boy, they've really been helpful. Not only that, but we have quite a few former band directors that are in the band, either retired or they are doing something else, and like principals or guidance directors or something like that. If you've ever been a band director, would you please stand? So we have quite a few of those guys. Yeah, look at this. Now, I'm going to kind of pass it around a little bit, and at least this is kind of an interest to me. And so, if you do not live in Grant County, if you're coming from outside of Grant County to play in the band, would you please stand? So we have people from all over, okay? We have them from Bluffton and Amboy, and we have a couple of gals coming up from the Fishers area, and we've just had a real good time. 7 practices, I think it was, to put this together. Now, if you are interested in finding out what we're doing and what's coming up and so forth, we would really appreciate it if you would fill out a card. Now, Wendell Bainbridge has done all this. By the way, he did all of the cards. We sent out cards like this. We had like 4,000 of those printed up. This is the card to tell people that we're going to have a community band starting, and fill that out or come to the first rehearsal and so forth. And we expected, I don't know, like 45, maybe 50 people. We had like 68. So we've just had, I think there's something like 70 people or 80 people up here tonight. So Wendell, if they want information to get a newsletter, do you have cards or something like that out there?
There's a table out front, cards on it. They can fill them out, leave them, we'll get it to them.
Okay, there's a table out in front with the cards on it, and so if you want to get a newsletter from us, you can fill that out, or if you want to play in the band, fill that out and put on there what instrument you play or you'd like to play on that. This is our last concert. Well, for a couple of weeks. Honestly, we really have nothing lined up after this concert. We really put a lot of energy in this one, so we'll get something going, and when we do, we'll let you know, okay? There's another thing you can do also to get information. Hi, can I steal your program? What's your name?
Michael.
Where are you from, Mike?
I'm a student here.
Good. Hey, your ensemble's great. Did you play in that? You didn't play in that. Who played in the ensemble? Who played in the ensemble? The ensemble, wasn't it good? That jazz ensemble? Man. Michael, don't let me go away without this. Look on the bottom, on the back sheet of your page, your sheet, down at the bottom, it says visit our website, www.Mississinewa Valley Band, WARP, and that's not an O, it's really a 0. You have to put that in there, .com. Now, there's one problem here with this one. So, you need to know that if you're going to use this, and let's see, Danielle Lancaster, would you please stand? She's done all that website stuff. She's just great. You want to visit us? If you want to visit us and find out what's going on, why, right there it is. And it's just really nice. And then you can enter your own name and so forth in there and just kind of keep up on what we're doing. There's no space between the Y and the B. Valley Band. So if you put a space in there, you probably won't get hooked up to it. So you got to leave that out. Okay, let's see. One other thing I'd like to call attention to, I think Dr. Brown called attention to the fact that the IWU Concert Band and the Taylor University Concert Band is having a concert here next Monday night. We're really fortunate in Grant County. The community bands, the 2 colleges, and the nice auditorium, it's just a pleasure to have this kind of a setup right here. So, if you really like bands, come Monday night. And if you're a band directors, Ray Kramer, is down at Indiana University, and just an absolute great guy, a great clinician. And if you want to come and listen to him rehearse the bands, I think it's 4:30. Is it right in this room here, Dr. Brown? Right here. And, well, it's just not band directors, but you just learn a lot of things by watching, observing, listening to somebody do that. So if you're a band director or have anything to do with bands, or you just want to come and see the guy do his clinician work and clinic work and rehearse the bands together, that'd be a great opportunity to do that. If you are interested in us playing somewhere, you might want to contact me or somebody in the band or something like that. Like I say, we don't have anything lined up, but we'll sure let you know, and we'll put it in the paper and the radio and things like that. After the concert, there's a lot of refreshments out there. Well, I don't know. There's refreshments out there. We'll have such a nice, big, large crowd tonight, and you don't understand how appreciative we are of you attending our concert. Band, well, let's show our appreciation to them. We really do. We really appreciate you coming out. And if you like it and you enjoy it, the next time you see where we're going to be and what we're going to do, so forth, why, tell 10 other people so we can have more people that enjoy that. What we're going to do is when we finish our Stars and Stripes Forever, well, we're going to kind of file out here, and if you just kind of wait for us to go out there in the lobby, and then we're going to kind of greet you and meet you and talk with you, and if you have any questions, well, you can talk with the band, and then there's refreshments out there. I think when you go out the door, it's kind of to the right side there. So appreciative of you coming. And so, Alan, you do your last thing. How about for Alan Miller, huh?
Thank you, John. Of the genesis of this march, which is considered to be his greatest, John Phillippe Sousa tells us this in his autobiography, Marching Along. And I quote from John Phillippe Sousa. Aboard the Teutonic as it steamed out of the harbor on my return trip from Europe in 1896 came one of the most vivid incidents of my career. As I paced the deck, absorbed in thought, suddenly I began to sense the rhythmic beat of a band playing within my brain. It kept on ceaselessly playing and playing and playing. Throughout the whole tense voyage, that imaginary band continued to unfold the same themes, echoing and re-echoing the most distinct melody. I didn't transfer a note of that music to paper while I was on the steamer, but when we reached shore, I set down the measures that my brain band had been playing for me, and not a note of it has ever changed. The composition is known the world over as Stars and Stripes Forever, and it's probably my most popular march.
Thank you.